Got little neck clams. Everybody, what you get is a little identification tag, right, that comes with them. These are called the shellfish tags. You want to keep these 90 days after the last order has been sold. This is an answer, right, on a serve safe test. So these are our little neck clams. And then these are going to be our Blue Point oysters that come from Connecticut. They also get a shellfish tag 90 days after the last shellfish has been sold. We also use two different kinds of knives. For the clams, we're going to use a thin blade, a little rigid. We're going to be using this for our clams. We want to make sure the blade is always facing towards the clam, which I'll show you in a second. And then we also use the oyster knives, which are a little thicker, a little sturdier blade, and these will be for the oysters. You can actually use a can opener to open up oysters. That's a little trick of the trade from Julia Child. Okay, folks, we'll take a little break and we'll get started. Little neck clams have a smile. I always look at the clam this way. Looks like a little smile face. What I try to do when I go to the clams is I want to go to the side of the clam where it's larger. This is the smaller side of the smile. This is the bigger side. This is the side that we want to use when we go to open our clams. Some of the clams are going to be a little larger than others. So technically, this would be a little neck clam, and this would really be a cherry stone clam. Little neck clams are usually 1 to 1.5 inches big, and then the cherry stone are usually 2 to 3 inches. Okay? And that would be by diameter. So when we start to open our clams, we want to make sure they're on ice. We want to make sure they've been washed. We want to make sure that they're ice cold. We want to make sure you also have a little towel. When you go in to shuck your clams, this is what's important. Whether you're right-handed, you would do it this way. If you're left-handed, you would do it this way. I'm going to show you right-handed. Take your little towel, go to the bigger side of the smile, take your knife, make sure the blade is facing the big smile, and then you're going to go straight in, just like that. How do you know you have it in? Well, what you're going to see is your clam is going to open up just like that. And what you're going to do is you want to keep the juices, and you want to scrape any bit of the clam from the top part. Very similar to a scalp. It has a little adductor muscle on the top. What you want to do next is you want to scoop and go straight through like that. Alright, and then you'll be ready to have them ready for your clams casino. Oysters. Oysters come in a variety of sizes, and they're not always really looking like they're easy to open. So I'm going to show you. Welcome to the wonderful world of oysters. They're different sizes. So this one's probably 2 inches. These are about 3. When we're making the oysters Rockefeller, we're going to probably cook them, I think I said 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the size. What I'm going to do is show you how easy it is to open an oyster that looks very difficult. And then I'm going to open the easy oyster. Okay, simply take your knife. You're going to go right in. You're going to go into the hinge. The hinge is actually right in here. I want you to think of a door. When you open up the hinge, the door, right, is going to be right here. So I like to go on this side. I like to also take my towel and go on top. And I take my left leg and I throw like I'm throwing a ball. And when I go in, I do a little wiggle and I pop it just like that. What happens is when you open the oyster, the top shell obviously going to stay right on the top. What you're going to do is you're going to go right down, scrape off the rest of the oyster. Okay, and then what you're going to simply do is you're going to scoop the flesh, right, the oyster, and release it right from the adductor muscle. So that would be the difficult one, which didn't look too difficult. Okay, next one I'm going to open the easy one, or it looks easy. So you want to get into that hinge, which is right here. Okay, so I'm going to take my towel, go right on top. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my little wiggle. Now, sometimes you have to really manipulate. Sometimes you got to go like you're gliding. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going in just like that. I'm lifting in and I'm gliding. Go in, go up, pop it right on top, scoop it just like this, similar to the other one. Folks, you have an oyster, okay? This is a beautiful Blue Point oyster that comes from Connecticut. Salty, briny. I could eat a dozen of those. Folks, here's your oyster.